Hello everybody. Gosh, this is a bit of a throwback. Advent mystery project make along. Wow, that's definitely one for from last year. It's very old, from last year. So don't know how many of you are here. I haven't actually told very many that this is happening, other than a very old post. Oh, I was just gonna tie up my phone. It's plugged in and it doesn't like standing up, so I'm just going to use a string. I've been looking for a clip, which is why I'm a little late, but can't find one, so this will have to do. There, you can lean to one side now, phone. Okay, this is when you start getting into trouble, when you start talking to your phone. But anyway, here we go. So let's have a look. We've got quite a few. Oh, it doesn't like that. Come on, don't be silly now. Okay. No. I think I've just got a very, very dodgy Wi-Fi at the moment, wireless I should say. I'm plugged in into the Ethernet, so we're all good with that, but I think the weather out there is absolutely awful at the moment. Again, still, whatever you want to say. So let's have a look who is here. I can do this from here. I might change over to, oh, where's it gone? Not that, sorry. Complete wrong screen. Here we go. Right, let's say hello to Colette. Hello, Colette. Katrina is there. Jane. Hi, Jane. And Sherry is there. Hello, everyone from a very rainy Tennessee. Oh, dear. Leah says, hi, all. Didn't think I was going to make it. Just done a 5.5 hour drive home from the in-laws. Oh, my goodness. 5.5 hours. That sounds absolutely excruciating. I do know these long drives, they can really, really take it out of you. But I'm glad you're there and safe. We have got Dawn is there, and Rose, and Diane says, hi, Steffi and fellow stocking makers. Leah says, on the plus side, I now have my lucky dip box to open after this. Ah, that's nice. So worth driving for. And Fiona is there as well. So can I just remind everybody, just in case if you've forgotten, we are here because you did this amazing stocking. Remember that? So we did everything from scratch to begin, from scratch to the end, and all broken down into the weeks of Advent. So we started with a green tree, then we did the decorations, like the little baubles and the embroidery, and I worked out that my French knots are more German knots, and you've got and then you did all the presents, the two square presents, the drum, and this was also part of the decoration here. I swear there's something missing. No. Oh, maybe it's just the last thing that we are making now, which of course, no, there is something missing. What's missing? What am I missing? I swear there were more than just 3 things we were making. Oh, the ball. That's it. Where's the ball? There was a ball. Must be still in the box somewhere. Is it this? No, that's another bauble. Anyway, there's a ball that went with it as well. I'm digging now, but he must have rolled away somewhere. Anyway, he's probably in the box. I just can't find him. And then, of course, most of all, this was the icing on the cake, is our little jointed teddy bear, which is why we're here today, and we're making him together. So he moves all of his limbs and his head, and he's fully jointed with extra strong thread. So this is if you haven't if you haven't up until now not opened your parcel, your week 4 parcel, then you can open this now, as I will, because you find the ingredients to make your little there it is, everything's in there, nothing left. Which of course is all the wool. You get also a tiny bit of silk clay to model his nose. You get a little bit of felt. You get some more felt to make the joints, and you get the glue in eyes and the extra strong thread in there. And of course you get the instructions. So that's basically the last part of the project that we're doing together now. Now, there's been a Christmas surprise in your parcel too. You will all know this because you will have opened it, but let's open this one together. And it is all to do with the final touches of your Christmas tree, because it needs the lights so that it's a nicely lit up Christmas tree. Of course, all your decorations have come down now, so this one will have been on your tree. I just didn't open it until, oh, look at that, isn't that lovely? And of course that looks beautiful on the stocking. Get this all back again. And let's just put it into action, and then I'll show it to you. See, even if you can't embroider, at least you can add your Christmas tree lights to the tree. I'm gonna do that now. Oh, I love these little lights. They're so cute, really cute. I think we had some last year as well. You can tell I like them. You get them every year. Right, here we go. Let's have a look. There we are. Christmas lights are in place, all lovely here on the Christmas tree as the final touch. Right, so let's get on with the job at hand, because otherwise we're never going to finish it. And you will start from scratch with the teddy bear, as I will. And let's just have another quick look who else might have joined whilst I've been here. A few more people. Katrina says, love the lights, really fab surprise. Sue says, oh, he's lovely. I haven't peeked yet. Oh my goodness. Saving this one to do calmly. Oh, what a good idea. Katie says, and the beautiful Christmas lights. That's it. Sue says, oh, he's lovely. Oh, no, sorry. I'm reading backwards. Donna says, sorry, late. Sorry, I have to go out, she says. Oh, never mind, Donna. You can catch up later. Carol says, such a beautiful project. Thank you, Carol. It's the ball that's missing. Yes, I got there. Okay, right. Let's get on with it. So we can, we can definitely start. So let's have a look at the instructions. They have basically only two types of wool in there. One is the honey coloured honey caracal as we call it, and the other one is the dark chocolate New Zealand merino wool bats, and that's all you need in terms of wool. You can of course use other wool if you want to, and then you also need a felting mat, which I've got here, and you need not a golden thread. That's, don't know where that came from. You need you also get in your little pack, let's open that up, because you also get 2 no-sew brooch pins so that you can pin the bear to the stocking for Christmas and then have him unpinned during all the other time. So our 2 no-sew brooch pins, they go on the back of the bear like so, there, and you can pin him onto the stocking. So that you don't have to permanently attach him, but he can come off and on and off as you please. So you get that in your kit as well. I didn't mention that earlier. These are little felt pieces there to make the joints for the bear. Now, if you've done the large jointed bear, then you know exactly what you're doing. And then there is also that little scarf. Now, I'm going to show you the trick with the scarf first, even though we haven't made the bear yet. Make sure I don't miss the other eye. Oh, it's still in there. Get that out so I can get rid of this, and I'm going to put everything in my handy little magnetic case. Can't shut it with these eyes in there, but they will stay put there, so I know that they're not going anywhere. Here we go. So with the scarf, when you're ready to put the scarf onto the bear, what you do is you cut your little fringe into the end like that, however many. Get as many slits cut as you can manage, and you do this on the other side like that, and then you're going to stretch the scarf ever so slightly by teasing it, but only a little bit, because it just makes it look less stiff and a little bit more like it's meant to go on around somebody's neck, rather than just being this sort of very square looking piece of fabric. And then you can put it around his neck like this, put one loop on it, one knot on it, and there he is. At least he's gonna have a warm neck in this cold wind. So that's basically how you do the scarf. So I've started from the end towards the beginning. Let's have a look what we're doing first here on the instructions. And we're starting with the nose, which is just as well, because the silk clay is in here, and it's double bagged because it's double bagged and sealed, because the silk clay needs to stay in a very airtight container, otherwise it will go, it will dry out. But if you have got silk clay and you're keeping it somewhere safe, then just add literally one tiny little drop of water into it and it will stay nice and pliable. So don't be afraid of silk clay. It does have this lovely capacity to be moldable again as soon as you make it a little bit wet. So I'm just wetting my finger now, and just knead that into the little silk clay ball, and it's literally, it acts like it is like clay, so you can make it nice and pliable again. So the first thing you're going to do is, I'm going to just roll a ball. Beware that when you make it wet, sometimes you can end up with black fingers and black fingernails, as I am doing now, into a ball shape. And then you pinch the two sides. So you're making like a diamond shape, but you don't want to flatten it too much. So I'm just pinching it, and can you use the white, let's use the white background here. There, and then you can see there. So I've just pinched it into place, and then all you're going to do is you're going to pull. Just going to pull that a little bit more, so I've got a bit more to play with. You're going to pull these little side arms that you've made forward and tuck them under, and they're going to be the nostrils. And so you've now made the nose. And that nose here, where the line is there, you're going to have to just make an indentation with your needle, just so that you've got a little groove going from the top down towards the two nostrils. And that's your little nose done. I'm sure that when you do it at home, it's a lot more obvious. This is such a small little modelling project, and especially because it's black. Black never works that well. Anyway, I'm putting this to one side to dry now, because now we're going to portion our wool out. So you've got the big main bulk of wool here, and you're going to split it into half. So as this is about 38 grams, you should have about 19 grams for each half. But it's not really that much. It doesn't matter if it's not absolutely precise. And the first half, which makes the body and the arms, you use next. And the second half, which is the rest of the bear, you use later and you put to one side. Right. So the first half, you split in, you split one off 1/4. Which is about 5 grams. So if you imagine this was quartered now, this part here, so quartered, then split off 1/4 and just sort of imagine that it fits 3 more times in there. Yeah, it's about roughly the right amount, just a little bit more maybe. And you put this to one side, and then there are the 3/4, about 10 grams left, you flatten into a sheet of 10 centimeter wide and as long as you can manage. So this is definitely wider than 10 centimeters. So I'm going to pull this a little bit so I get a nice long, narrow and long shape. Now I've got to take my felting mat, and in typical Steffi style. I haven't cleaned it from last time. I have no idea what I did on there. I think it was the gemstones we did the other day. I'm just going to give it a little scrub with my rubber brush. There we go, as new. And now you're going to you roll this in from the short end and tuck in the sides to make an egg shape. So I'm going to, from this direction, I'm going to go this way now, because I need to tuck it in. And I know that there are templates, and we are aiming for, sorry, just need to get my bearings again. We're aiming, we're making the body. So you're looking at the basic body template, which is this one here. So it is an egg shape. It's actually a little bit bigger than an egg itself. So we've got quite a lot of really tight rolling to do, because the thing about these jointed bears is that they are as tightly felted as you can possibly manage. And what does help is, if you want to, you can actually already felt this a little bit as you go, so that you don't have to hold it so tightly. And I'm going to use a coarse felting needle, and I'm just going to give that a few stabs as I go. This doesn't say that in the instructions, but I'm just giving you extra help. In fact, I'm even going to go and push out fully on a multi-tool, which I know is here, because I used it only yesterday. Here we go. And I'm going to go with a prim handle, because it's such a great tool. I used it for the geode. It is, if you haven't got this tool yet, it is a really good one to invest in. However, if you were lucky enough to buy one of our yew tree felting tools, then use that one. That's really good as well. I keep meaning to bring it in, but I keep forgetting, so I can't even show you what I'm talking about. And we do have a few more that we are planning to sell, but I haven't had the time to do anything with this yet, so bear with me. Anyway, get all the way to the other end so that you can now felt the shape down fully. And I've got one tiny little Angelina fibre that's snuck in there. Naughty. I'm going to get rid of that. So remember, it's an egg shape, so one end inevitably has to be a little bit more pointy than the other end. Now what you will find is this Russian caracal felts down super easy. It is such a nice wool to felt with. It really just instantly responds to you stabbing that needle. So I've made that part a little bit more pointy, and now I've got to round off this end with my multi-tool. Of course you can use a single needle. I don't want to be doing this for the next 3 hours, so I am speeding this up a little bit by using that multi-tool. It is a little bit nerve-wracking using this tool, because if you do stab yourself, it really genuinely hurts a lot. So try not to do that. It's also quite hard work on your arm. So alternatives, if you don't want to use a multi-tool, you can use a couple of needles side by side, hold them together like that, and then just proceed with this. If you have a 3-needle pen, that will work. If you have the if you have this tool, the multi-needle tool, the metal multi-needle tool, that will work as well, quite well actually. And the needles are not quite so spread out, so you've got less of a chance to stab yourself as you're working on quite a small scale. The main thing is you do need to needle felt this down really, really rock solid. So if you look at the little bear here, there's very little give in him, and that's exactly what needs to happen for us to be able to join him together with a thread, so that he doesn't just fall apart when you pull tight on the strong thread. You will also need to organize a needle, a long needle. It needs to be as long. This is probably on the short side. If you have a longer one, use a longer one. I do have a longer one, but it's it's very long. It's might be a little bit of an overkill. I'll see. I'll work it out one way or another. Something in between might be nice. We do sell dolls needles, and we also sell the teddy bear making needles on our website. So if you haven't got any and you want to make more of these charming little bears, maybe you want to make them in different colors, then it's worth an investment. They're not very expensive, the needles. You can use other wool, but I would definitely use a wool that felts down super solid. So the coarser fibered wools are quite suitable for that. The Shetland is brilliant as well. So is the Gotland Island. They're all really long fibered but coarser wool fibers. And what that does is that some of those, especially the Shetland, they have some finer wool fibers and then some coarser fibers in there, and they felt down really well, because the long fibers sort of encase the shorter fibers, but the shorter fibers make it felt quicker. So I think it's a great combination to have long and short wool fibers together. Right, I am stabbing away here still. You're going to see so much stabbing, so hopefully you're not going to get too bored. But I think that's probably a nice egg shape. Let's just check it against the template. I could be stabbing this a little bit more, but I think we're all right here with that size and that shape. You'd never think that that big wad of wool turns into a little egg like that if you do lots and lots of stabbing. Right, so the next thing that we're going to do now, we're going to start on the arms. So take the remaining 1/4 of the original half wool portion, which was this one here, and split into 2 equal portions. And of course that was about 5 grams, so we're going to make that now into 2.5 grams each. Looks a bit like that. And then you're going to take 1/2 and lay out flat into a sheet of about 5 by 10 centimeters. 11 centimeters. Now the 5 centimeters is the width. It will so I'm just going to get that. When you tease bits off, always make sure that you overlay them so that you've got the largest sheet at the bottom, and this is definitely longer than 11 centimeters, so I'm going to get my handy little tape measure out and measure it. Let's have a look. Actually, this is spot on, 11 centimeters, and the width is there as well. Now, instead of rolling it in from the short end like that, we're actually going to roll it in from the long end, and that means that we can also felt it down a little bit as we go, like this. And then wind it in a little bit more. I'm not doing much with the ends at the moment. I will do in a minute, but not just yet. And finally felt the remaining wispy ends into the main shape, like that. And now you've got to firm up all of this, but I'm going to get my multi-tool out to work again, because I want this to work really fast, so I can move on to the next step, because I've got to make 2 arms as well. And the ends we're going to now felt in a little bit so that they're tucked away and get rounded off. And again, you will need to have the arms felted down absolutely rock solid. So don't cut corners on this one. This is really important. You are getting the most solid felt you can make out of this. Otherwise, you will regret it when you start pulling the wool, pulling the thread through the wool, and it comes apart. You don't want that. You want it to be nice and solid so that the thread has a solid base to go into. And the arm needs to be about 9 centimeters long. So let's just have a look. About here. So I just need to tuck away that part, felt it down, and then solidify it a little bit. If you've made the arm too short, don't worry about it, because you can pull it a little bit longer once you've got the ends felted down. It's always quite easy to adjust your shapes by I want to say at least sort of a centimeter or two here or there. And so you don't need to panic about that either. Lots of vigorous stubbing. Let's see how long this is. Yeah, it's spot on. If yours wasn't long enough, then you can just give it a little tuck, like from side to side. Now I do need to felt this down a little bit more. So I just need to spend a little bit more time doing this. I'm just wondering if I've got another magic tool that I can use. I'm going to try the 3 needle felting tool and see if I can just speed this up a little bit. That's definitely working. I'm pulling them all out. Everything's coming out. Get it all felted down. I'm going to have, whilst I'm felting away, I'm going to have a little check at what people are saying here. What are people saying? Lots of you are watching now. Make sure to give us the thumbs up. This is obviously part of the Advent stocking, but when I put it at some point onto YouTube, we'll make sure that it looks like it's the tutorial for Jointed Little Teddy Bear, because this little teddy bear is going to become a kit, a kit for spring summer 2024. So we will be releasing this as a kit rather than just part of the Advent project. Okay, so you're gonna have to needle felt a little dent into your teddy bear's arm, because obviously he hasn't got them sticking out at the right angle. So felt into the dent and then felt into the whole shape whilst it's in that position, and that will create that dent. And I'm not so happy yet with the ends here. They're still quite soft, so I picked up a fine needle then. Where's my coarse needle? There. I'm going to felt this down a little bit more so that I've got haven't got a soft end here. You can give your little bear little pads later on. You don't have to do that now. In fact, I don't have to do that now because they may take a little bit too long. Just need to make the second arm now. So there's one arm. Now I'm going to use the last bit of that separated wool. Remember, it was about 2.5 grams, and I'm going to do exactly what I did earlier. I'm going to sort it out so I've got a nice solid piece at the base, and I'm going for 11 centimeters in length, 5 centimeters in width. This one is a little bit longer, and I'm going to start winding it in really tightly and also felting it down already. And I think in the instructions you actually tuck the sides in already, but there are many ways to get to the same result. So if you're doing it like I'm doing, you can, but if you want to, you can already tuck the sides in before you have even rolled it up a little bit like with a body. But it doesn't matter too much. This wool is extremely forgiving. It doesn't really leave any creases or wrinkles or gaps or anything like this. So whenever you're ready, just tuck it in, felt it down, and then continue winding it into the proper shape. So what in 2023, let's talk about this, because I'm on Sewing Street on Thursday, and I've just popped into the Sewing Street fan page a post asking people what their favorite 2023 makers project was. And in fact, if you are on that group, you can win yourself a winter wreath kit. So it's entirely up to you if you want to enter it or not, but if you are there, you find the post and just comment in the comments. But just for a bit of fun, let's hear it here. What was your favorite makers kit in 2023. Love to hear it if you want to just pop it in the comments here. It's usually the one that comes to your mind first, so just put that down and let's see what that was. So my arm is a little bit too long and I've got a very narrow end here, so I'm going to fold that in, felt it down. Now, if you have made something like what I've made here now, I've got a nice solid bulk here and it looks a little bit weak on that part. It doesn't matter if you tease off a little bit from the other wool and just wrap it up so that it evens it out. That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to do that. I'm just literally going to take a little bit of the other wool. I'm going to wrap it around it so that I'm building the bulk so it's the same all along. And then I felt it down, and then you can literally cover up cracks and unevenness and build a little bit of bulk with just a tiny bit of wool strand that you will not notice that it's not there when you use the rest of the wool to make the remainder of the bear. So don't be afraid to do that. Second arm coming along. Actually, it was that one was better, wasn't it, on this one? It is a lot of stabbing. There's no two ways about it, and of course I can't fast forward because this is live. So if you are getting bored, just fast forward yourself, or pause me if you're making along, because I might be moving a little bit too fast, even though I don't feel I'm going very fast at all. Right, then we're going to put the bend into the arm like this. And felt it down all around, and we have got two arms. Yay! One definitely looks slightly longer than the other one. Let's give that a little bit of a tuck. That's better. And I could also make this one a little bit shorter. So try and make two arms the same length. That would be good, and width as well. And remember, you can always adjust things when it comes to needle felting. Nothing's ever set in stone, just set in wool, and that can be changed. Right, perfect match. Now two arms, here we go. So the next thing that we're going to do is doing the head. I'm going to put them the arms here's my body. The arms are going with the body, and now I'm going to read on in the instructions. Oh, and by the way, you also have, I'm pretty certain about this, a template for the arm. Shall we just check it? Oh, that's not bad, right? That's pretty good. Okay, so the next thing you're doing is the head. And for this you will need to take the second half of the original wool quantity and split this in half. So remember, this is the first half that we had before we started. I'm going to split that in half, roughly, okay? And put one half to one side for the legs. And from the other half, take off a good pinch, about 1/5, which is 2 grams. This will be for the snout. So remember, when you take off portions, if you take off that much, you need to fit that 5 times into here. So I think that's okay. Let's take this off, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that will do. Put this to one side. And the larger part of this portion flatten into a flat sheet of 7 centimeters wide. And as long as you can manage. So I'm teasing this so that it's about 7 centimeters wide. Shall we check it? So look. Yeah, that'll do. And now you're going to roll this shape up the same way as you did with the body. And you're aiming for a ball shape this time. Again, I'm rolling this as tightly as I possibly can. The head has got a template here as well. Let's find that. There. So I'm trying to make this fit into there. So what is that, about? It's Let's measure it. That is about 5.5 centimeters wide. That's what I'm aiming for, a ball shape that is 5.5 centimeters wide. And I'm really winding this in ever so tightly so I don't have to do loads and loads of needle felting. So what I will do is I will start establishing it as I did before, so it doesn't pop open. This is not written in the instructions. This is an extra bit of a tip you can do. Just felt that down. I've been very clever today. I have got my cup of tea, but I've put it in a thermos cup so I can actually drink it, even if it gets a little bit further into the live stream. So I'm gonna have a sip now. Oh, and just looking around while I'm drinking my tea, I found the needle that fits into the middle. So I've got this one here. This is the one I showed you earlier, this one. And this one is the one that we have used for the big teddy bear. I've found the middle one, so I'm really pleased with myself. I knew it was somewhere here, and it just literally waved at me. So I'm going to keep that somewhere safe now. Okay, continue rolling that head in, nice and tight. Really, if you don't get it tightly rolled up, it's not like it's wrong, because you just have to do a little bit more stabbing. But if you already manage to roll this into such a tight little, round little shape, then you don't need to stab so much. And there's definitely some vegetable matter in this bit of wool. It's basically straw or hay. Something dried up from where the sheep were happily grazing, and probably still are, in the meadows. So just a bit of grass that got stuck in their wool. Okay, and then the final bit, get the last bit of wool wrapped around it. So you can see that I'm almost wrapping it not just around that way, but also a little bit almost like there is a word for it. It's sort of off center. I'm wrapping it a bit off center, but there's a much better word for it, which I can't think of now. It's like I can't think of it. Never mind. It's a bit like the moon the Earth evolving around the sun, and it's not entirely the same, and the same with the moon. It's slightly offset. So if you imagine it's wool balls going around each other, and you're winding them up, then it's a little bit like that. And I feel like I'm making a complete mess trying to explain this, but yeah, anyway, that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to resort to a multi-tool to get this felted down a little bit smaller and firmer. Oh, I love this so much. So with every stab you make, it's like doing 6 individual stabs. So these multi-tools definitely work for the very, very firmly and coarse wool projects. But be careful, they do definitely hurt if you poke even just one needle into you. It's quite a vicious tool. Okay, let's have a look how we're doing with this. It's got some softer parts still, so I'm going to get those felted down. And I think then the head is done. I'm going to measure it in a minute, 5.5 centimeters, remember that. Bang on. How is that? Look, there, perfect. That's the head, fits the template. So gonna put that to one side and tick that box. And now I'm going to go onto the snout. So remember the snout, I've put a little bit of wool aside. So now I've got the body, the head and the arms. That didn't take too long, did it? Okay, put this to one side, snout. So the snout, you're going to, I need to just pause a little bit and have a little chit chat. Let's do that for a minute. Okay, I'm still here. Let's see what people are saying. Let's have a little. I can see it better here on the looking ahead rather than on my little screen, which is still frozen. So look, I still need to do quite a bit, but I will finish it. That's Jules. Katrina says, amazing project, I loved it. This is probably the whole stocking rather than just a bear. Katie says, hi everyone. Oh, hi Katie. Colette says, the ball present is missing. Oh yeah, sorry, we've gone all through. I'm too far back. Oh, what's Jane saying? Oh, Jane, I've lost you now. Jane says, the large teddy I made at the summer retreat. Everything jumps around when people are commenting. Retreat for Charlotte was my absolute favorite. Lots of new techniques learned along the way. Oh, that's so nice, Jane. And Colette says, says the same thing. Colette says, I can't wait till the retreat this time, which is not very long at all, because today is the 9th and we are meeting on the 26th. So it's 17 days. It's not very, it's almost only 2 weeks. Rudolph the reindeer, well, my reindeer has a red nose, says Fiona. This is an answer probably to the best 2023 projects. Too many to choose. An outright favourite, says Diane. Oh, very diplomatic, Diane. Think my favourite was the hare. I love hair, says Jane. Ashley says, I think of getting the new owl. Maybe my Uhu glue is a hint. Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, Uhu glue. So it is pronounced Uhu. So if you say anything different, it's wrong. Elaine says the turtle was mine. Oh, that's nice. Katrina says so hard to choose. T-Big, but Leon the chameleon close behind. Oh, that's nice. All the big, you like all the big makes then. I like the pig in the teacup, says Ashley. I love the owl, says Rose. The Brussels sprouts, yay! Colette. I like the hare too. My favorite kit was the hare, says Tracy. Brussels, says Daisy May. So yes, all good. I can go back to doing the next part of the bear. Right, here we go. So whilst I'm doing this and you're stabbing away, I've got another question for you. I'll ask you that in a minute. But the snout uses the 1/5 of wool you split off earlier, and you flatten this into a 4 centimeter by 12 centimeter sheet. So 12 centimeters long, 4 centimeters wide. And then you're going to wind it in from the short end into a medium firm sausage shape. So again, what I'm going to do is, even though the snout isn't so important in terms of joining the bear, I am already stabbing it flat again. But it can remain a little bit softer. So I'm just rolling it up now, and no more firm stabbing, because the snout is actually something that we need to sculpt onto the head as well. So I don't want to make it too shapely. And no thread will have to go through it, so it doesn't have to be that firmly felted to start with. But I'm just going to felt it down, and briefly. And there is a template for the snout as well. So if you're unsure how big you should keep it before you stab it down too much, it is actually a lot bigger than this. So let's just squeeze it a bit. It'll be fine. My bears tend to have smaller snouts. I'm just going to pinch a little bit of this and make it a slightly bit bigger. And also one end of the snout stays unfelted, because that needs to attach to the bear. So felt one end down, slightly rounded off, but the other end keep it wispy like this. Okay, so the next thing that's going to happen is, you can guess this already, we're going to attach it onto the bear's head. So there's the head, there's the bear, and you're going to attach it, and it will look ginormous, but that's the whole point of sculpting it onto the head. So you will attach it by teasing these wispy fibers out and then sitting it onto the bear, and you're going to stab the wispy ends of the fibers into the bowl shape first. So get the snout attached by stabbing around the base and getting these wispy ends felted down like that. And yes, it looks ginormous, but that's the whole point, because you're now going to sculpt the whole shape. So you're going to felt into the top of the nose to bring the tip of the nose up. Can you see how that's happening there? Like that. So you can felt the shape down in that way, and then you're going to felt underneath it in that curved line as well. So you're basically sculpting the shape of the snout onto the bear. And remember that the nose will sit on here, so that will become, well, I'm flattening it already, but the nose will sit on that part of the snout as well. So you will felt that down a little bit more. Doesn't say to do that yet, but I'm doing it already because that's what needs to happen. So the snout now looks a lot less out of proportion, and this is what you're aiming for. And I think I'm back on track with my shapes here. Okay, so this is what you're aiming for, and then the nose will sit on here, right? And now we're going back to all these pages. Okay, we're going to make the eyes. So the eyes will sit. The eyes will sit literally on very, very close to the snout on the side, just above the snout here. And I've just needle felted them so that you can see where the eyes will be. But you're in fact making a hole now. Now you can use an awl, or you can use your felting needle. I happen to have one of our awls here. So you're making a hole, and then you insert the eye. They're quite big. There, like that. And I'm going to get my second eye ready and insert the second eye. I haven't glued it or anything yet. I just get the eyes in first because I want to make sure that they are symmetrical, like this. So we've got a little face looking at you now. And now, only once you've done this, you get your glue bottle, and then you add a dab of glue behind the eye without the eye popping out. Push the eye in, and this glue that we're using, the Stick It glue pen, is brilliant. It is a water-based PVA glue, so it's non-toxic, but it does really work well with wool, metal, and the like. So it is a really good glue to have, and that's the eyes in, like that. Now you can have the eyes in a slightly different position. They can be more to the top, or your little bear will look very individualistic with how you are making it. Now the nose is probably not fully dry yet, but it doesn't matter. It will be dry enough. So just prepare that area again where the nose needs to sit, like this, on your bear. So I'm going to make a slightly more of an indentation so it sinks in a little bit more, like that, and that's better sitting on there. Now if your nose, like mine, is quite broad, you can actually cut it a little bit. I actually prefer this side now, so I might have to make an indentation in here and cut the other side. I thought the other side was the front, but now I prefer this side, so I'm going to cut it a little bit slimmer. This is not in the instructions, this is me winging it, so that I've got a slightly flatter nose, and actually that fits much better onto there. And then use a little bit of glue Remember that nothing is impossible. You're allowed to alter things, that you don't have to stick verbatim to the instructions, because sometimes inadvertently you make things a little bit different, and we would hate to think that you can't put it right just because you're so married to the instructions. So get that nose on, and you need to leave it to dry. So mine is still a little bit soft to the touch, but probably I can leave it to dry, because I'm going to put this whole little head now to one side. There he is, sniffly sniff, and we're going to move on to the next step, which basically is making the legs. Now the legs are made very, very similar to the arms, and you take the remaining wool and split it in half. There, one half will be for the ears, chin and finishing touches, and the other half is for the legs. So one half I've put to one side, and the other half I'm going to split in half again, this time that way, because we're going to roll them up in that direction. And yeah, they feel about the same. Maybe this is a little bit less. And now I'm going to flatten this into a 5 by 10 centimeter sheet again. This sounds very familiar. I think it was 11 centimeters earlier for the arms. But got my nice little tape measure. Let's have a look. So the legs are slightly fatter and shorter than the arms on the teddy bear. So remember, I'm teasing the fibers off and overlaying them onto the middle, where underneath is the larger piece. And then you're going to wind this into a shape exactly the same way as you did with the arms, but the sheet is a little bit shorter. So the arms are, the legs therefore are a little bit fatter and shorter. And then you roll this up, wind it, wind it, wind it, wind it, and felt it down. This is identical to how you did the arms, so no new techniques, just a tiny, tiny adjustment to the size. And I used the pen for this. I'm going to get this felted down. Oh yes, the question. So, at this time of the year, what's a real sort of, you know, when you, what is it at this time of the year that gives you sort of this, ooh, yuck, icky feeling? Yeah, be nice to, it's probably all going to be weather related. It is certainly for me. For me, it's that cold wind, or any wind. I really, really don't like storms. And the noise of the trees, it really creeps me out. What at this time of the year, what creeps you out? What is the sort of the creepiest thing that can happen to you at this time of the year? I'd be really interested to hear that. I'm sure there'll be many other things that you find creepy rather than just the weather. But I would love to hear it. What creeps you out this time of the year that doesn't normally happen maybe at another time of the year? Okay, so for me it's the absolute ultimate not like it at all kind of thing is when the wind is howling and the trees, and especially in the dark, the trees are this really loud rustling noise. I really, really don't like it. To me it's like, oh no, the world's coming to an end. Yeah, I really, really don't like it. Lots of people love it. Can't understand it at all. I tell you what else I don't like. I don't like going for a walk and getting wet feet. That's I always wear waterproof shoes. I don't mind getting wet. Just don't like having wet feet. I think I really, really don't like that. Even when I used to do a lot of running, I always had wore like a sealskin, not really sealskin, but that's what they're called, socks. So they were basically waterproof socks. Oh my goodness, yeah, no, I really don't like getting my feet wet. Yeah, so what is it that you don't like, especially at this time of the year? That'd be good to know. And whilst I'm stabbing away, I'm making this shape exactly how I did the arms, but it's a little bit fatter, and it's also a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to measure it, because it should be, what are we aiming for? We're aiming for the leg template, which is on the back. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, so the leg is definitely a little bit more squat. Once I felted that end down more, it will be perfect. So that's of course always is the good thing, is once you've done one limb, you can just use that as a template for the second one, as long as it's matches the correct size. So I don't know, my oh, there the comments are coming through, so I'm just gonna have a look. Which felt squares does Steffi use to cover her? Oh, the felt that I'm using is our wool viscose felt mix. Is that what you're talking about? What's going on top of my felting mat? So I use them a lot, partially because when I start on a brand new project, I don't want to contaminate my work in the slightest, because I've got to take very close-up photos, and even a tiny little different color fiber will show on the photos. So that's even though it doesn't matter so much in the big picture, it does when you take close-up photos for instructions. So I often cover my felting mat to have a completely clean surface there. I also often use the different colored felt sheets, because there's more of a contrast, not so much here, but if I was to use the earth-friendly felting mat, which is underneath, and I'm using white wool, you wouldn't thank me, because you couldn't see very much at all. So I try and use surface colors that will give a nice contrast on screen as well. Right, I think that is probably a firm enough sausage now. Now I just need to bend it in like I did with the arms, and it bends in slightly differently, so it's more like that, like the paw is here at the back, at the bottom. So I think that was the question that I'm definitely going to have to watch this again before I start my bear. I've just looked at the instructions, says Leah, and I am a bit intimidated. Oh no, don't be intimidated. You've only got one set of wool. Just literally follow it step by step. Don't look at the instructions, just look at the relevant page. Honestly, I know this probably doesn't sound very reassuring, but I haven't genuinely looked at these instructions for weeks now. Not since, weeks and weeks since I actually wrote them. And I had absolutely no recollection of how to start this bear. And I just looked at the instructions, and it hasn't even come back. It's just so easy to follow the instructions, so please don't feel intimidated. But you can definitely also just literally follow the instructions and then follow the make along. And I always try as much as I can to stick to the instructions. I'm sometimes a little bit bad. But yeah, I mainly do it. Right, I've just moved on to the second leg in case you hadn't noticed. So I'm just felting the first little turn down that I've made, and then gonna roll this up, and then that's most of the really heavy stubby felty stuff done. All we need to do after that are the ears, and yes, I guess that's it. And you need to we need to add details to the face. Yeah, but the really heavy duty stabbing is done, so no more of that now after that. But please don't ever feel intimidated by instructions, because we are at pains to make them as easy as possible. that can sometimes have the effect that you look at it and think, oh my goodness, I've got to, there are 17 pages or however many. Don't think for 1 minute that that is a reason to be intimidated. Quite the opposite. That's a reason to know that you are not going to be left with anything on your own. Just literally go from box 1 to box 2 to box 3 to box 4 and so on and so forth. Don't look at the whole thing, because it will be too overwhelming. They are very detailed instructions. We're very well known for that, and we couldn't be any different. So I've written instructions for, oh my goodness, I want to say for probably near 12, 13 years, and I've learned so much doing that. Even when I used to have a little craft shop, I was already starting to write instructions for people to follow some of my designs, and so I've done it for a very, very long time, and then not only am I writing the instructions, I've also got Alice, who is our creative design manager. She's extremely focused on with her attention to detail, so she won't let me get away with anything. And then of course we have got people proofreading them as well, so it's not just about writing them, then they also get checked, does this actually make sense? So you end up with a very lengthy but extremely detailed instructions, and they are exactly what you need. So especially when you feel intimidated, don't feel intimidated by the instructions. Honestly, it's not necessary. Right, you could feel intimidated by the instructions if there was one sheet in there and maybe no words, just pictures. God, can you imagine? Right, I'm gonna felt that end down a little bit more now. I love this wool. I really love this wool. It's so good for teddy bears. It's the best. It really is. That one, honey caracal, the Russian caracal, and to an extent the merino caracal as well. It's a little bit softer because it's mixed with merino, but they are such good wools to felt bears, and they've got these lovely bear colours as well. So I'm really liking that. Okay, now where's my, let's turn that into the foot here, and then I've got 2 legs done, I have got 2 arms done, I've got the head done, and I've got a body done, and the snout, which is now attached to the body. The nose is attached to the head. The nose is still drying, the glue is, and also the silk clay. It will go absolutely nicely solid, so that it can't be pushed out of the nose can't be pushed out of joint again, out of shape again. And yeah, it's all working nicely according to plan. So 2 legs, 2 arms, a body, and a head. We are so very, very close. Okay, let's put all of this away and see what happens next in the instructions. So I want to guess it's probably the ears that need to be made next. Oh no, we're not going for the ears yet. Oh yes, we are. Yes, right. Take 2 equal pinches of wool, flatten one into a thin sheet of 4 by 5 centimeters. So these are only small pinches, but it's always good to have 2 of the same at the ready. And then you use your felting needle, and you are literally drawing a little round shape, a circle, into the shape. And the ear template is on the back here, and it is about, let's measure it, it's about 2.5 centimeters in diameter. So I'm going to do this freehand for the minute. So this is my 2.5 centimeter little shape, and you're going to tuck in the fibers on the outside to the inside. You've done this loads of times if you've followed our instructions of making mice or some of the other animals. You're leaving the fibers at the bottom unfelted because they're essential for attaching the ear. You also have to remember to tease the ear off. I tell you what I love about this wool. You felt really solid into it, and it felts, but at the same time, because you're pushing the fibers out at the other end, you get almost like a really sort of hairy a hairy result. I really like that because it's not yeah, I really like how it stays hairy, but yet you felt it down really solidly. So then you make the second ear exactly the same way. So just a 2.5 centimeter circle. It doesn't matter if it's 2.6 or 2.7 or 2.8 or 2.4 or whatever. Just make sure that you've got 2 ears the same. And when you've got the shape roughly, then you need to lift it off your mat so that you don't felt it on forever. And felt on the other side. Oh my goodness, I don't think I'm normally holding needles quite so tightly and stabbing so deep. This is definitely a project for a time when you need to really go to town with this needle. And you're gonna guess what I'm gonna pull out in a minute, right? Go on, have a guess. So because we're making ears, I'm going to use, yes, I'm going to use the Maker's Edging Tool. And I do know where it is. No, don't let me down, Steffi. I know I've put it somewhere safe. I've tidied my desk up, which is never a good idea because I can never find anything. Okay, let's just go to the big camera for a minute so I can look in peace and quiet. I know I've tidied it away somewhere. Where did I tidy it? Is it here? Oh, really? Now I can't find my edging tool. This is like a disaster. And I have more than one. Oh, my arm is about to drop off from all this stabbing. Okay, what I think is that I think I can't find it. Where the heck did it go? Where did I tidy it? Put it somewhere neat. Sorry, I'm looking still. I'm still looking. Never give up hope. But wherever I've tidied it, it remains to be hidden. It doesn't feel like I put it there. Put it somewhere else. I'm looking, but I'm not expecting to find it because I didn't put it there. Okay, let's have a look here. Ugh. No, it's not there. Where'd it go? Okay, I've tidied it somewhere and I cannot find it. This is why I prefer... I found it. There. This is why I prefer having a messy desk. Because if you have a messy desk, you tend to sort of just reach into the mess and you remember that you've put things there. Because that's where they always are. Right, here we go. Let's... I'm going to take some of this stuff off my desk. Tidy this away. Okay, here. Edging tool. Okay. So making the edges of the ears neater by using this and stabbing in between the two transparent plates or shape. I do love this still. It's very satisfying to watch. The only thing you have to make sure is that you don't miss going between the two transparent sheets. Because if you do, you're going to stab straight into your finger. But it does really, really neaten the ears up ever so nicely. And it firms them up as well. So it neatens the edge, but it still felts them as well. So, oh, lovely. Look at this. Beautiful. So that's one ear, and this is the ear that I haven't done yet, so you can tell the difference. I'm going to put this through the edging tool as well. and get the edges neatened out for this as well. Okay, that's the last bit. We need to needle felt as in a separate part. All the rest is just done on the bear. And of course we have to join the bear together. Now, because I have joined a couple of bears, I am actually quite nifty with it. So I'm going to move through that quite swiftly. But I will explain it as best as I can, because it is exactly the same for the big bear as it is for the small bear. Now we need to get our little felt joints into place in a minute. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to give my bear any details until I have actually joined him together, because the details are a little bit less important, but how to join the bear might just be what you need. Now there's a lot of wispy ends here, so I'm going to tease some off. Don't need all of those. And here as well. And then I'm going to secure them now against the head. Now for this one we're putting them behind the head like that, so they're poking out at the back, and felt the wool down. It literally melts into, mind that nose of the bear, it melts into the head, that wool, and then felt into the ear as well. So you're making like an ear hole, felting into the front. I don't want to sit it on his nose because I'm denting his nose. So get rid of that wool. That's one ear. And then you're going to do the other ear. Oh. Make sure it's symmetrical. Yeah, and felt it down as well. So if you have a join and you don't like it, then you can always cover it with more wool. That's always the great thing about needle felting, anything can be covered. There we are. This is one of Colette's designs, so she has a particular way of making the ears. I always tend to do it differently, but I'm liking this. This is a good way to get them on and look nice. Oh no, my nose has come off. I knew it was going to happen. There. I might have to just add a little bit more glue onto the nose again, because it's not staying on now. I've disturbed it. There. Okay, so that's the ears. Nose back in place, ears are on. Little bear, there it is. Right, let's see what happens next. So next you can now, on the instructions, you can fill in the ears with a little bit of dark brown. And we can also make that bottom lip. Now I'm very conscious that the nose hasn't dried on yet, but let's just try the ears with a tiny bit of brown on the inside, tiny wisps. So don't, it's always better to have little and then add more than have too much and then you have to take it off. It's easier to add than to take off. A little bit of brown on the inside of the ear. On one side, remember when you stab onto the inside of the ear, the brown will come out on the other side, so don't stab too deeply. And on this side as well, just to give a hint, a little bit more here. That didn't disturb the nose. And then I'm going to make a little bottom jaw now, and for this I need a wisp of wool, and I make a flat disc very similar to how I make the ears, but this time I make it a little bit more shallow. So instead of a round circle, or almost a round circle, I'm making more of a semicircle like this. Fold the wool in like this too, so it's almost an ear but it's not, and keep the wispy bits underneath unfelted. Turn it round, and then I'm going to felt this down into a nice little bottom lip. So it needs turning over a couple of times to make it nice and firm and shape it so that it looks symmetrical. Turn it over again. And once that is done, I'm going to attach it to my bear without trying to wreck his nose again. So this is going underneath him like this. So he's got a little bottom lip, but you want to do it so that you're felting down the sides, and obviously get the wool, the end of the wool felted down as well. That will attach it, and then you can shape it onto his snout. So what you want to do is you want to shape it so that, first of all, you don't want that bottom lip to stick out beyond his snout, otherwise it looks like he has an underbite. And then you want to make that into a smiley mouth. So felt the sides up so it looks like a happy face, as an extension from the snout. And then you can also felt into the actual bottom lip and tack away some of the bulk as well. And remember, if you do have a join that you want to get rid of, then you can add a little bit of wool over the top. Might have to do that on this side, it looks a bit messy. I might be able to still, this side I like, this side I don't. Right, let's get that bottom lip sorted first here. So I'm not felting it on, I'm just felting it a little bit closer together, but you do want to keep that gap so it looks like his mouth is ever so slightly open, like that. Okay, but this side I'm not so happy about because I've messed up the join a little bit where it comes together, so I'm just going to cover it up and then start over getting that line of the mouth done properly. So cover up what you don't like, and then once you've done that, then start again getting that line of the smiley mouth. That's better. Just going to felt the rest into the head. See, that's how easy it is to and then just compare it to the two sides, so make sure that they're symmetrical. Everything's about symmetry. So now you there's the glue that will completely dry away. Now you've got your little smiley bear with his little bottom lip, and we're making a line from the nose down towards the mouth in the brown. Now I'm very conscious that that nose is the glue is still visibly wet and white, so I'm going to be very, very cautious in stabbing into that area here. Very cautious. Sometimes it's enough to just felt a line. You don't even need to fill it with color. I'm going to cut this off because just the indentation makes it look darker. So like that. Okay, so the glue is still drying, but he's now got that ridge between his nose. That white, the glue will completely disappear. And now in the instruction it shows you how to make the pads. Now the pads obviously sit on the inside of the paws, and I'm not going to do that right now. I want to join the bear together because that I feel is more important than anything else. So for this you will need your little strip of felt, and I'm now giving the head a chance to dry, and you have to make 10. So what I do is I cut this in half, and each half needs to make 5. So and they're meant to be square. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you need to round the edges off. I think I can do that with 2 at the same time. So it doesn't matter if they look a little bit out of shape, or you can make them into perfect circles if you wish. I'm always going to do 2. So that's how I am doing it. But there will be other ways. You can measure it out, draw on it, cut it out. I don't know, use a laser tool, whatever. However, if however neat you want these discs to be, just a little tip. They will be entirely invisible, so nobody's gonna notice if they're a little bit out of shape or not. But I'm just using 2 now to cut the edges off and round them into what I think is a disc. But it's not very disc shape, is it? It looks more like a stop sign at a traffic at a junction. Anyway, that it will be absolutely fine. But if that's too unsatisfying for you, you can make them very, very nice and round. Just don't lose too much of the size of it. So don't cut more off than the edges, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so now every single part that touches the bear needs to be joined together. I've got a little bit of a bumpy bit down here, so I'm actually going to just cover that up because that's annoying me. So just evening out a crack down here. And just so you can get your head around this while I'm explaining it, every single body part that will be joined together has to have a little disc shape attached. So that means top of the head, underneath the head, side of the body, inside of the shoulder, side of the body where the legs are, inside of the leg. That is why you need 10 of these little disc shapes, and there's a particular way of how to secure them. And to do this, you are basically using your little glue bottle, and each disc, lay them all out individually. Each disc needs to have a ring of glue going around it, so that when you have to go through these with your sewing needle, you are not going to poke it through glue. So have plenty of glue at the ready. I don't even know if I've got enough. And do a circle around each of them. Ah, yuck. Stay. Oof. Okay, I'm going to hold it down with a felting needle in the middle, so I can add my glue. Stay. Stay. Oh my goodness, I'm only on disc number 3. This is the sort of thing I hate, repetitive stuff. I can just about cope with 2 arms and 2 legs and 2 ears. Anything more than 2, I get bored. Okay, I need to break this up. So I'm going to start adding these where they need to go. So 1 underneath the head. Here we go. That is the part that attaches to the body. Therefore, I'm going to put a corresponding one straight away on top of the body. Here, that's where the head sits. Okay, these 2 will be on top of each other. Therefore, 2 disc shapes are going there. Now I'm going to put the 2 arms, because they're going to sit here on the side, roughly here, and then 1 on the other side, there. And because that's where the arms are going, I'm going to put my, I've lost a limb, 1, 2, oh no, they're all here. I'm going to put the 2 arms, which way around? That way and that way. So because they are attaching to the side of the body, the discs need to sit on there. So I'm going to make a couple more now. So 1 sitting on the inside of that arm to go with the body, and then 1 sitting on the inside of the other arm to go with the other side of the body. There. That's the arms, and then all remains are the legs. 1, 2, that way. Yeah, I think that's okay. And so we need a disc to go on the side of the body here, and then a disc to go where the leg will attach, which is here. There. And then same second one. I hope you're all still with me. This is a very long tutorial, so you're definitely getting your money's worth for this Advent project out of all of this. But it is also a really good and useful tutorial if you want to do one under your own steam. So make sure that the legs and arms are lined up so that you don't have a wonky bear. And then you need your strong thread, which you get here. We do sell this. This is extra strong thread. It's really hard to tear it, which is the whole point. Okay, starting with the head and the body attaching together. I am using my needle that I've actually found. So you're doubling up the thread. Now you need to have enough thread because you're going through everything twice. So go through the body underneath, and then you have to go through the center of that disc. Might take a couple of attempts to do that. This is why you don't put glue in the center. So make sure that you don't pull the thread through. Then you go all the way through the head, bottom of the head, all the way up through the top of the head, like that. Okay, head and body. Then you go back on yourself through the head and through the disc, center of the disc, and straight in through the body again. And this is why you need these long needles, because it needs to come out again of the body. Oh gosh, come on. Here we go. Now, because it's wool, inevitably you will probably pull a dent into your teddy bear, like I've done here on top of the head. And this is why we have got extra wool. Now I'm going to cut this. Extra wool to cover up any dents. Now the main thing is, what you do is, you're going to put a surgical knot on there. I didn't know it was called that. But basically what you do is, I haven't pulled this tight yet. You go round once, and then you go through it again with that end of the thread. And now you can pull really tight, and it doesn't come undone. It stays tight. You haven't put a knot on it yet, but you want to pull this as tight as you can so that your teddy bear has got the head firmly attached to the body. And then you put a knot on it, and then you cut it like that. So this bit of leftover thread, you're going to take care of it by using a little bit of your leftover wool. You've got quite a bit left over, and you're literally just covering it and felting it down to get rid of that. Get rid of the hole and tuck away any evidence that you have ever pulled thread through your poor little teddy bear. So that is how you cover up the evidence of the thread having been there. You can use your coarser and bigger felting tools to do this too. And you do the same here on top of the head. So get rid of it by laying a batch of wool on his head and felt it down to stop any signs of where the thread has been pulled. And you do this on your teddy bear, on the base and on the top of the head, but you also will do this on the arms in a minute when we get to attaching the limbs. So just watch me do that in a minute too. And it's another chance to shape your head a little bit if you need to do that. I'm still a bit worried about that nose. It's still not quite dry. So cover up that dent on top of the head. You probably do lots of finishing touches on your bear anyway still. You can also add a little bit more wool to reach on top of the nose, so it doesn't look like the nose has just been glued on. And if you need to add more bulk to the top of the head, then do so. But I'm going to leave that now. And now I'm going to show you how to attach the legs and arms. So make sure these discs are aligned and the arms are still in the right position. So starting with the arms, you take your needle, another end of the long thread. This time you won't need so much because it's a much shorter distance that you go with the needle. Thread your needle and you start on the outside of the arm, so make sure you've got your thread doubled up. Go through the center. If it's come off and you need to add a bit more glue, do that. I've just moved it, I've probably unsettled it. So through the middle of the disc, there. Leave some thread hanging on the other side so you have leverage later on to pull it. Then you go through the shoulder disc, through to the other side, there, through the arm, there, and back again. Everything in reverse. So through here, through there, and through here, through the center of that disc, through the center of that disc, and through the arm again. And what I do is I cut the thread, and before I do anything I make sure the arms are attached properly, and then you do exactly what you did earlier. You do the surgical knot, so 1, 2, and then you can really pull it tight, even though I haven't got much thread left here, and it stays tight, it doesn't come undone, and then you can put a knot on it, and then you can cut it. And then you are going to needle felt this little bit of wool down exactly the same as you've done before, and then all you've got to do is repeat this for the legs, which I'm going to do very quickly now. And then the pad detail and so on, I'm sure you can work that out yourself. So this is the last bit of threading we're doing now. So again, you start on the outside of the leg. Oh no, I think I might have attached a leg. I did. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Who will ever tell what was a leg and what wasn't? Okay, never mind. Just carrying on regardless. It is getting quite late. So through this side, through this side. Make sure you've got thread left at the other end. Oh no, didn't do that. Hang on. I need to make that thread same length. There. Okay, start again. Through here and here. I feel like probably everybody's abandoned me. Oh no, there's loads of people still watching. Oh, thank you for bearing with me. It is quite an elaborate project. I always knew it was going to be. When I got home tonight, my girls, they said, "Oh, Mum, when are you eating with us?" And I said, "I don't think I will be eating with you tonight. I'm just going to have a snack now." So I've actually had my supper, because I always thought this was never going to be a short tutorial. Imagine you do a really big one. Right, so going back on myself again. As long as you follow that path back in exactly the same way, doesn't matter if it looks like everything's coming apart, because as soon as you pull it tight, you're putting it back into place again, because the thread will do that for you. So cut that, get hold of that bit here, so you've got, and then make sure that those discs are actually, they haven't been crumpled up. There. And then you give this a good old pull. Remember, once, twice, it makes a huge difference. It doesn't matter if the legs are pointing in the wrong directions right now. Just get them really pulled tight. And this is why you have to needle felt your limbs really solid, because by the time you're pulling, you don't want to pull it through the wool. There. Nobody could ever possibly spot what was the leg and the arm. Dear, oh dear, what have I done? Anyway, here he is, all ready. I need to felt this down, I need to felt this down, but he's got movable arms and they're nice and solid as well. And if you're not happy with it, then just re-thread it. You can do that too. And you can still, don't felt the arms on, obviously, but you can felt into the crease of the arm to neaten it up a little bit. So you can always felt into here and here, and felt the shoulders down a little bit if you want. So you're not fastening them on. You're just sort of neatening things up a little bit. And of course, if you're doing the pads for the legs, then just make sure that you use tiny amounts of wool, pads for the legs and the arms. Use tiny amounts of wool. I mean, to be perfectly honest, because I've got one of these is an arm instead of a leg, I've got so much wool left over, I can actually fatten this leg up a little bit, even though it's attached. Just to make it look more like a leg, which is my mistake. I got confused. But you can still sculpt the legs and the arms even now. And of course, with the feet going up, you put the pads underneath it, so that when he's sitting up, I show you on the bear that's ready made, and they're always different. I mean, you know, you can't help it. So you make an upside down heart shape and then 3 little dots underneath. So make sure that the feet are pointing up and that the paws are pointing in. And then you just give him his little scarf. And what I mentioned earlier is that you can actually, oh dear, you can, sorry, I've just had something in my, you can also, for the nose, because it looks like once it's felted, it's actually getting very solid on there, you can add a tiny amount of wispy ends. You can even cut them, just put them on top of here, so that the nose looks a little bit more integrated into the face, there, like that. So the cut edge covers the ridge of the nose a tiny little bit, like this, so it looks a little bit like fur is growing on the nose, on towards the nose. And of course you can give him other details, like you can put very light patches around his eye. One of the ears looks a bit loose now, having messed with him. You can give him a white chest or whatever you want to do. Dress him, make him clothes, and best of all, make sure you sit him on the Advent stocking next year, so that he's all ready for you to adorn your Christmas stocking. And in the meantime, he might just be a nice little companion on the shelf all year round. And remember to give him his little red scarf as well. Whew, what a marathon. Oh dear, that was a very long tutorial. I'm just trying to work out how long this was. Yeah, this was long. This was nearly 2 hours. Flipping heck. Yeah, time to call it a day. Everybody's been very, very good staying on. I love learning new techniques. Steffi always makes everything look so easy. It is easy, Maureen. It is easy. That's why. We all appreciate the time you give us, Steffi. Oh, thank you very much. That's lovely. That comes from Daisy and some from Jane. Yes, don't tell anybody that my teddy bear has got the arm on his leg and the leg on his arm. But anyway, Jackie says that's a leg and an arm. Yes, absolutely. Katerina says, I'm here now. We'll have to rewatch on replay. The weather is dreadful here. Oh yes, it's dreadful here as well. I'm going to let you into a little secret. I'm actually sitting here. The heating in this room is not very warm. But I'm sitting here with a heated blanket, which means it is actually plugged in. So my legs are nice and warm. And I've got a heated chair cover. So it's all plugged into my USB port, and it's actually been keeping me nice and warm. And I'm just going to test if my tea is still warm. That's a no, but I've drank it anyway. And yes, so many of you have been watching. Colette says these discs are tedious, yes, but very important to help with friction when moving joints and to stop the wool from knotting. So yes, it's all been thought through very clearly. But anyway, hope you love your little teddy bear. And when are we meeting again next? I can't think now. I don't think there's anything on the Facebook events page. But what there is a date for the 30th of January for our flock gathering, and we are making needle holders. So if you're not a flock member yet, then what are you waiting for? Join our flock membership, and then you can be making some lovely needle holders. And just to remind you all, this is the subscription box for January, which is a Eurasian eagle owl. So if you want to make this one, then you can either get your subscription box with a good discount, or you can get it as a one-off box from our website. And do follow us, do tell all your friends about it. Come and join our Everyone a Maker Facebook group. And remember, I'm on Sewing Street on Thursday from 10 until 11:30. If you're watching this live today on the 9th of January 2024. If you're watching this anytime after, just ignore what I said. And that's all from me tonight. I shall have a well-deserved rest now, and I'll see you some other time. Take care, everybody. Lots of love. Bye.